you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Oh my gosh, it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse, and I'm trying not to pause too much, but this is unbearable.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
This is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far to say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters.
This is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life. The stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And if you say African American people are less likely to have state IDs, then you are stupid. You are really slow. And here's why I say that. What are African Americans? What are we? We are Americans, meaning that our ancestry starts at the beginning of the Atlantic slave trade, meaning we are borderline original Americans. We are not immigrants in any sense. We were basically sold into slavery. Our ancestors were sold into slavery, and we were brought up in America. So if you think about it like that, how are we possibly less likely to have an American ID when our ancestry is American? What are we talking about here? We're not immigrants. If you are talking about some sort of immigrant, whether you are a citizen or not a citizen, and you are trying to get citizenship, yes, you can argue that they will be less likely to have a state ID. But when you talk about African Americans, you saying that just shows blatant borderline racism and just borderline ignorance. But let's continue.
Are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Oh my gosh, it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse, and I'm trying not to pause too much, but this is unbearable. We don't have internet access. We don't have the knowledge to do it. We're too broke and poor to do it. We don't live near a DMV. What? This is terrible. Oh my God, this is terrible. I can't believe this.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
It is a very weird thing to say that. I have never, and I'm not exaggerating, ever met a black person who didn't have an ID, who was an illegal adult age in my life. Of course, you might meet a kid who doesn't have their learner's permit yet because they're freaking 12 years old, but anyone above the age of 16 has a form of ID. Everyone, every single black person I met, because we're normal people and we have IDs and we drive cars and we go to school and we pay taxes. What are we talking about here? Why do so many people believe we don't have IDs?
Yes, it is.
What is this? Some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right?
That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So of course I know how to use it.
Smart.
My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data? Mm-hmm. You can access the internet
Unlimited.
with unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process on.
I just think that's ignorant.
Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I'm hearing a lot. Ignorant.
It's very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, like, what, you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it?
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Are you
Love
cool?
showing my ID.
You got no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so.
Why would we have a problem with that? We have IDs. Where did this come from that black people don't even have IDs? I don't even understand the logic behind this statement. I really, and I'm not trying to start anything or push an agenda. I genuinely do not understand the logic behind this. It is extremely ignorant. It comes off as racist, and it comes off as you don't know history. We have IDs. If anything, we'd be more likely to have IDs because our ancestry starts here. The life that we know, the culture that we know starts here. For African Americans, we have IDs. Just thinking that it's just stupid and racist. And the fact that so many people were so adamant to say it. They said that we don't have internet access. I'm on the internet. Yes, internet access. We have internet access. We're not stupid. We know how to work a computer. Anyways, make sure you check out Ami Hirowitz. Although this video is old, the video still shows the times that we're in now. Because some people probably still think like this. Let's be honest. It's LFR JoJo, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.